This is episode 15 of You Don't Know Anything About Women, where I, Roy Calvin, am giving you the dating advice the internet doesn't want you to hear. Let's get into our first post. Entire MMA gym is trying to kill me for dating this girl. I've been training MMA for over 10 years as a hobby. Nothing serious since I work as an engineer. After moving to a new city, I met this girl at the gym and we clicked right away, especially since we both speak Arabic. We started talking more and eventually went out. And for the past week, we've been seeing each other almost every day outside the gym. What I didn't realize is that basically every guy at the gym, including some of the coaches, has been trying to get with her. Yesterday during sparring, one of the fighters randomly jumped in and started going way too hard, like he was actually trying to hurt me. Like even other people training legit stopped in the middle of their rounds to watch. Later, she told me he's one of the guys who bought her flowers and a teddy bear. It's really cute and I feel bad about it. She claims she's never went out with any of them and they're just jealous. They don't know for a fact we're a thing, they just suspect it since we've been talking more often and sometimes they'll see me talking to her in the parking lot. She mentioned that we should just switch gyms. I like this gym, also I don't want to look like a pushover. On top of that, I've only dated her for a week to make such a heavy decision. Am I being too dramatic? Edit. Reason why switching gyms now isn't a good idea either. She claims at other gyms she's trained at, people always try making a move on her, and unless we join a new one together as an official couple, things wouldn't change. We literally just started dating a week ago, so personally I'm not comfortable committing like that. Sounds like this gym has a lot of people who are fucked in the head, so my advice is to leave. Who cares about seeming like a pushover? I mean, I don't really think the girl is going to think that anyway. And if the guys think that you're a pushover, that doesn't fucking matter at all. I don't think that's what you're concerned about. You're probably more concerned about the girl's view of what you do. Rightfully so. But yeah, fuck this. It's not worth staying there for people to actually try to fucking hurt you. You got this girl now that apparently everyone wants to bang. I don't know. She must be insanely hot for the whole gym to be acting like this. I nearly threw up in my mouth a little bit when one of the guys bought her flowers and her teddy bear. Oh God, it's happening again. You said it's really cute and you feel bad about it. I don't understand what you feel bad about. I don't know, the fact that this girl likes you instead of this guy who bought her shit. Don't feel bad about that. You win here. No gym is worth staying in because of this behavior. You got the girl. Now it's time to leave. There's no need to put yourself in jeopardy of trying to get hurt. I'm surprised that she's still going there if there's this many problems there. Now, he does point out in that edit that people are always trying to make a move on her no matter what gym she goes to, which I understand. That's kind of just the life that hot girls have, right? But I also want to point out how naive you're being in that edit, saying that nobody would make a move on her if you join as an official couple to a gym. That wouldn't stop me. So, I mean, I don't care if the girl has a boyfriend. I'm still going to try. Obviously, it's different if you both go together all the time. Yeah, I understand that. But I assume there might still be some times where you go separately. So just the fact that you walk into a gym as a couple and sign up and then think that, oh yeah, nobody's going to try to talk to my girl now. That's wrong. No, there's guys like me out there. I'm going to try, depending how hot the girl is. And of course, if me and you were friends, then I wouldn't try anything like that. But yeah, I don't care who you are. I'm going to talk to your girlfriend. Except, I don't really get into hitting on girls at the gym, but I'm just saying if I was a guy, which, these guys at your previous gym are, who find your girlfriend attractive and want to talk to her and get something going, then yeah, if I was in that situation, that wouldn't stop me. It doesn't matter that I know that she has a boyfriend. So just be careful of that if you do join a new gym, which I think you should do. The only thing that might change my mind is like if this gym is really close to where you live and the other options are really far away. That would be kind of annoying to have to switch gyms like that. But like, I don't understand your sentiment that you like this gym. I mean, what do you like about it? The fact that people are trying to beat the shit out of you because you're going out with a girl they like doesn't seem like a good gym to me. I wouldn't want to be involved with any of that. I just want to do my workout and go home. I guess the other option is to break up with the girl, but no, I would never recommend that. The girl is much more valuable than continuing at this shitty gym where nobody likes you. And this thing about how it's only been a week, so you don't want to commit to joining as a couple. Again, like I don't really understand that way of thinking because you're not joining as a couple. You're still joining as two separate people. If this all goes to shit, then I mean, whatever. You can keep training at this new gym and she can choose to keep going or go back to the other one or go fuck herself, whatever the hell she wants to do. Or you can also just go back to your old ones. So yeah, don't worry about that. I mean, I'm, of all people, against making big commitments 1 week into a relationship. But I don't think it's a big deal. You can always change what you want to do. I mean, if you break up with the girl and she's still going to the same gym and you don't like that, well, You can break your contract. So there's always a way to get out of it. Just because you've known each other for a week and you sign up, that doesn't mean that you're committed to life to working out with this girl and going to this new gym. So for now, leave this gym. It's not worth getting the shit beat out of you for a girl, especially in a place where you're kind of supposed to feel, safe enough to work out with other people who are working on the same thing you are and not actually hurt each other. Okay, let's go on to the next post. Professional dating services? I'm done with being alone. I want anything at this point, whether it's casual or real. Somebody please recommend me a professional because this is just way too hard for me. I live next to a university and I had a panic attack once I got a couple messages from girls calling me weird for cold messaging them and their friends on social media. Isn't that what this is for? Well, now it feels like I can't go into the bars anymore because I've already been labeled a creep. Clearly what I'm doing isn't working. Put me on game, please. I'm curious to see these messages that you got from girls who are calling you weird for cold messaging them. I think most girls would just ignore the message and move on instead of actually calling you out for it. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with cold messaging girls on social media, but also it's something that I would never do because I think that the result rate is just insanely low unless you have like a really nice Instagram profile and like you're semi-famous or really good looking or something like that. And you asked, isn't that what this is for? Cold messaging girls on their social media? Well, no, it's not for that. But again, if your profile meets all those things I just mentioned, then yeah, the girl isn't really going to care too much. And if you don't meet all those criteria, I don't think what you do matters very much on social media. Like, just nothing is ever going to happen. I've never really gone like full send into trying to optimize my Instagram to look good and for girls to like me on there and, message them and try to funnel girls through that avenue. I do know some guys who have tried it a little bit, but kind of like most of the guys that I hang out with don't really get into that. But yeah, even the ones I know have put a little bit of effort into it, like they don't really get many results from there. So I don't think that's the best course of action for you. If you want to try something on social media, it's probably better to follow them and toss them a like here and there. And if they have a story up, then comment on it. Like that's at least better than just cold messaging them out of nowhere because, it's right in the name. It's cold. It's a cold girl. It's a cold lead when you just message them out of nowhere. But at least if you follow them for a few months and they become familiar with your name and, oh, it's that guy who comments on my story sometimes. Oh, now he's sending me a message. Well, maybe I'll reply. But that's like the best case scenario, like it's very likely she's still not going to reply. You talk a little bit about your profile, and I don't know if you mean your Instagram profile or like your Tinder, Bumble, whatever the fuck profile, but I wouldn't pursue that avenue either. Basically, nobody knows anything when it comes to dating apps, even after all these years. Like, you just need to look good, and that's how you'll get matches and conversations. Like, there's not much you can do, in my mind, in your profile that will just have girls lining up, messaging you, wanting to meet you. There's places online, like on Reddit, where you can post your profile and get feedback. Not necessarily saying that's a good idea, but if you're just completely clueless about your profile, it can be a starting point of maybe something that's wrong on there. Like, once you ensure that you don't have anything really fucking weird or any big fuck ups, there's not a whole lot of optimization you can do. I think some people would disagree with that, but that's how I see dating apps. I don't know how many girls you've cold messaged, but you said you got a couple of messages back saying that they're calling you weird. Don't even worry about it, man. Like, there's a very low chance that you're going to run into them if you go out anywhere, to bars or whatever. And some advice I give on this show a lot, and I hope you followed it up until now, but if you haven't, then start following it now if you continue messaging girls. But just, like, always be careful about what you're messaging. I always say, like, if all my friends and family like saw a message that I sent to a girl, I want to not be embarrassed, basically. I want it to be just a normal, like, non-strange message. And that doesn't mean be boring, but just like, if they see the message, there's nothing in this message that makes me seem like creepy or whatever. That's kind of just how I've always done my messaging. Basically, any girl that doesn't like you is going to think that you're creepy. So whatever, let her think that. But then you just know, oh, well, my message was like pretty normal and I didn't say anything that sounds really fucking weird. So whatever, it's her problem if she's going to get upset about it. Always remember, like, a girl can take your message and she can put it on her social media. She can say anything about it. It's like sending to her friends is like, that's almost like a guarantee that it's going to happen, right? If she doesn't like you. But she could do anything. She could make a post on Facebook saying about this creepy guy messaged her. But as long as she's posting up a screenshot of you saying like, hey, I came across your profile and I thought you were cute and I wanted to say hi, there's nothing in that message that's like incriminating or illegal in the worst case. Like it's nothing. Like you did nothing wrong there. So always remember that when messaging girls, they can show that message to anybody. So don't send anything fucked up. And again about the bars thing, you said you feel like you can't go to bars anymore. So I assume that you were already going there. So keep going. Nobody fucking cares. The chance of running into any of those girls is really low. And if you do, like they're not gonna say anything in person. And if they do, again, just who gives a shit? As long as your messaging is good. Now, if you send some messages that you think are a bit fucked up, yeah, again, just fix that from now on. And there's nothing you can do about it now. You just got to live with it. You still got to go out and find a girl. I wouldn't put any money into professional dating services right now. You're 23 and it looks like you're trying to improve your dating and get some help. So go out and talk to some women. Again, like I could tell everybody that I talk about on this show, like if you see a cute girl out somewhere on the street, the grocery store, go talk to her. That's your chance. You don't need to wait for a bar or an app or anything like that. Okay, let's go on to our next post. How to deal with other male competition when I'm trying to date. So I've been trying to put myself out more lately by going to more events such as meetups or social gatherings of some sort. However, one thing I've discovered is that whenever there are women around, there are guys around and it feels like a competition. How do I overcome this and become the best choice in the room relative to other guys? It can be quite hard as though I'm in shape. I'm only about 5'6", and for example, in the gym there's a lot more men who are superior to me, have better physiques, might be more charismatic. So how do I overcome this obstacle of people who are always superior to me physically, which the women will naturally pick them before they pick me? This is evident at bars and clubs I've gone to many times but never succeeded there. Online is even worse, so I don't even try on there because the competition between the males is very fierce. I think there's a lot of layers in this post that I want to unwrap, and basically nobody in the comments is talking about anything that's on my mind. They're all just saying, oh, well, just you're amazing and you don't have to compete with anybody. Well, I'll get into that part of it after. But he's saying he's going to meetups and social gatherings. This is just, like, I guess he's talking about meetup.com. It's funny because that's just kind of everything on Meetup is like a dating event, even though nobody wants to admit it. Like, that's what 99% of guys use it for, I think. Like, even if it's just some kind of fucking sports meetup that's not for dating. And I've seen some descriptions of events on there that say, this is not a dating event, so stop coming here trying to pick up girls. I'm not really for or against it. It's just funny. This is how men are. Just everything will turn into a dating event because we're always looking for women. But at the same time, I'm also going to criticize this guy a bit. I don't know what kind of meetups he's going to, but especially if you're going to meetups that are not for dating, then you shouldn't be treating it like a competition at all if there's guys around. Like, that's not what you're there to do, I think. Maybe you are only going to dating meetups, and then, okay, it's more of a legitimate question, but I don't know. If you're just going to a sport or game meetup or whatever, then what is your motivation? Are you there to play games or are you there to meet women? Because I do think it's kind of lame if you're just going to a normal legitimate event and then saying, why is there so much competition from other guys? I want to bang these girls. Like, that's not really what the event is for, even though, again, that's what guys are going to turn it into. But I'll tell you how I avoid male competition when it comes to any event like this or whatever, dating, anything else. I just do not compete. Like, I don't go to any of these events. That's been my whole philosophy in my whole dating life. Like, I don't go to parties to bang girls. It's kind of like I stopped going to parties when I was younger in like fucking high school and stuff. I stopped going to parties by the time I got involved with like dating maniacally like I have been the past few years. Like, parties is not where to do it. I don't fuck around at bars or clubs. I'm all about approaching girls on the street where they're alone and I'm the only guy that they're talking to, at least in that moment. I just find it so much better like that. You don't have to compete with anybody else. Now, if I go up to a girl on the street and I talk to her and I get her number and I ask her out, yeah, she might still be on dating apps or talking to other guys who are trying to get her attention, but I don't care about any of that. I just think about what I want to say to this girl, like what other guys do or whatever else she's involved with. I can't control any of that. And the best girls are probably not really talking to any other guys anyway. You're saying how you're only 5'6", but like at the gym, there's guys who are a lot taller and more charismatic. I don't know if you know that they're more charismatic, but I read posts from guys on this show all the time who say that like they're tall and in shape or whatever, but they still just fucking suck with women because they're clueless. So I'm definitely not one of these people who say that looks and height don't matter. They definitely do. I mean, girls like tall guys and attractive guys, obviously, just like we like attractive girls. But just because you're 5'6", it doesn't put you out of the running for anything. As long as you have a good personality, you can still go places. Like if you're really short and you have a shit personality and you don't go to the gym, then I mean, yeah, something's got to change there. But no, you are 5'6" and you do go to the gym. Maybe your personality is a bit bad. I don't know, but that's definitely something that you can improve over time. You talk about women naturally picking these other guys who are taller and whatever, physically superior to you. That's not always the case. A guy can have a terrible personality that turns a girl off right away. That's not to say there are some guys that just look so good that the girls don't give a fuck about their personality, but like, don't write yourself off here. There's lots of options out there, and I'm not saying to bang an ugly girl either. I happen to be pretty normal height, which I'm thankful for. And I've gone to the gym for a long time, so I've put in a lot of work there to the point where I look, I'm not a bodybuilder, but, I look okay. But my face, like, very normal, and I've banged so many fucking girls over the years. I've been out on dates with so many, so you don't need to be a top fucking 1% guy to have that success. I'm sure I've had more success than a lot of the top 1% guys. Top 1% in terms of, like, how they look. Because, again, I read their posts on this show where they're really attractive, but they can't do anything with women. And you mentioned online is even worse, so you don't even try there. That's fine. I mean, you don't have to. You can open it up as an avenue, and maybe you'll get some dates through there. But just to reiterate, my advice for dealing with competition from guys is just to not compete. Just go out and talk to girls on your own accord. Talk to them when they're not around other guys. I think that's like a no-brainer best solution. Why would I choose to go find girls who are hanging around with a bunch of guys who are also trying to fucking vie for attention when I can just go up and get their undivided attention? All right, let's move on to post number 4 for this episode. Did I end it too soon? I've been dating this girl for a few weeks. We had 5 dates, sex on the 3rd and 4th date. The physical chemistry was really amazing, but our conversations were a bit exhausting at times. She had no real interests or passions she would talk about and couldn't tell any stories. Conversation felt a bit one-sided because of that. I ended it because I just couldn't see us being in a relationship. Now I'm questioning my decision, and I feel like I'm missing her. Or is it just hormones that I missed the physical part? It seems to me like you ended things way too quickly. Now, have I ended things after 5 dates or having sex 1 or 2 times? Absolutely, but I'm a special case where I've been on so many dates and I think I'm a better judge at, like, if I want this girl to be around long term than you are. That's not to shit on you, it's just kind of the facts. That's why I started this podcast, because I have a lot of fucking experience to share. Maybe you do too, but I don't think you do based on the fact that you came to Reddit and asked if it was the right thing to do to end this thing. So I do think you're right to be questioning your decision, sad to say. It seems a bit quick to me. And some advice that I give on the show a lot is that don't give up your girlfriend or whatever, your girl who you're having sex with, until you have a new one that you can have sex with. Because I'm assuming that you didn't do that. I'm assuming you don't have another girl. So now you had this girl who seemed pretty good. There was really good physical chemistry. That's always good to hear. And then you just let her go. And now you're in this possibly sexless state of your life temporarily. And now you're questioning your decision. Of course you are. Who wouldn't be? Because, yeah, you want to keep having sex, but you gave it up. So that's advice that I always give. I wouldn't have let her go like that. Just, if you don't like the girl, then just date other girls. That's fine, but still keep her around. But I've definitely been out on dates with a lot of girls like this. Like, the conversations get a bit exhausting, even though I invite her all the time. She always comes. She's always happy to hang out. She's always happy to have sex and whatever. But yeah, just a bit like boring. They don't really have any conversational ability. But on the other hand, some girls talk too much. So yeah, you want to find a balance if it's going to be like a long-term girl. But sometimes a nice quiet girl who can't really talk to me very much is just what I want. In the future, I would recommend doing activities that don't require as much conversation, which is more advice I've given on this podcast a lot. Like, I'm not into every date with a girl being, going out to eat or going out to coffee. Like, that just gets fucking boring. I can do that for like the first 2 or 3 times to get them know them a bit better. But then after that, I want to go do some fun stuff where there's an activity involved and we don't just have to be having a conversation the whole time. Like, ended it just because you couldn't see yourself being in a relationship? You're only 24, man. I mean, even besides my advice of find a new girl before getting rid of an old one, I just don't really think it's enough time for the average person to make a decision like that. Because now if you start dating another girl, you might not like the new girl and you might realize, fuck, actually compared to this girl, I really like that old one and I shouldn't have let go of her so quickly. That thing that I thought I didn't like that much, I kind of do like that now. Maybe it was good that she didn't have that much conversational ability, which might sound crazy, but it can be a good thing sometimes. Like, conversations are great and all, but there's a lot of people in my life I can have a conversation with. Like, I don't need girls to have conversations with me. Yes, it makes it better when you have some things in common, you can talk and she can hold a conversation. It just makes it a whole lot easier. But that's not like my number one reason for dating. Like, I need to get laid. That's why I'm dating. They don't need to be a conversational expert all the time. I also don't know the details of how you ended it, but that's another thing I just don't like doing. I don't like ending things. I rather that you just don't message and things kind of fade away. And then that way, if you do change your mind, it's not like you have to go back to her and be like, hey, sorry about like ending things, but could we get back together? You can just be like, hey, yeah, I was busy for a few weeks, but like, let's hang out this weekend because I have some time again. Much easier to repair something like that instead of, a situation where you just straight up end it. As for right now, you don't seem like you were that much into her that I would recommend like messaging her again and seeing what's up. But again, if you want to do that, I'm not against it. If you actually miss her that much, you gotta take your shot, right? And maybe she'll come out with you again, maybe not. But you'll never know if you don't try. Let's move on to the final post for this episode. Unprotected sex after 1 week? I met her on Tinder. We immediately had a connection and been on dates and hung out 5 times in 1 week, each being 7+ hours. But this Sunday we finally had sex and I didn't even think to wear a condom. She just kind of hopped on. We'd previously discussed how she had an IUD at one point and how sex is really significant for me, but the fact she just got on, no question, is getting to me. This has only been my second time ever having sex, so I lack intelligence and experience, but I feel like condoms are always important. I don't sleep around and she really doesn't seem like she does. She told her parents about me and seems like she really wants a serious relationship. But I'm just panicked because I forgot to use a condom and I don't fully know her sexual history and she doesn't know mine. Things are moving insanely fast. Well, all the comments, of course, on Reddit are condom, you gotta use a condom. Now, that is good advice, so don't get me wrong. But I know what it's like to be in that moment and you're just ready to have sex and there's no condom, or I don't know, maybe you did have condoms and you didn't think to wear it. But I don't know if I believe that. I guess I can give you some benefit of the doubt since you say this is your second time having sex. So yeah, you might not have thought, I gotta get out a condom and put it on. But the reality that these Reddits comment don't realize is that putting on a condom can sometimes fucking ruin the mood. I mean, I've mostly used condoms throughout my dating life. But yeah, there's been occasions where I haven't because it just kind of feels like it would fucking ruin the mood. There's a comment here saying, just tell the girl that, hey, I gotta run out to the drugstore. Can you just hang out here and listen to music for a while? Like, that might work. That could happen. You go out, you get some condoms, and you come back and you keep having sex. But, like, I don't know. Some girls just fucking dry up from that. It's not good. Reality is not always talked about on Reddit, right? And I've been in that moment too. Like, I know that wearing a condom is the responsible choice, but just the exact way you described it. She kind of just hopped on. Fuck, I've been in that moment and it's so good. And it's just like, I can't stop this right now. Because I know how much better it's going to feel without a condom. It's hot that she just wants to get on. Like, I don't want to put a fucking obstacle in this moment. I just want to keep going. But again, it's not the best decision. So just make sure you always have condoms and always use them in the future. Now, you say that she doesn't seem like the type to sleep around. This is another thing. Like, I think I can legitimately judge this well now because of the experience I've had. But again, you say this is your second time having sex. I'm not really going to trust your judgment on that. But at the same time, I think a lot of the Reddit comments are wrong of like, don't assume that the girl hasn't slept around. Like, yes, I that is a good mindset for you to have. But in my case, with all the girls that I've banged, I've never had an STD, at least none that I know of. So nobody can tell me that it's just as simple as, if you have sex with a few girls with no condom, then, you're going to get an STD. And it's impossible to judge how many people they've had sex with and if they're safe or not. I know how many girls I've banged and I know that I've never gotten anything. And there's been a few in there where there's been no condom. So just in case, if you're getting worried about like an STD or something, I really wouldn't worry about it unless you see a sign that you've caught something. And there's people in the comments saying that, you're putting all the responsibility on her, but you don't take any responsibility. I don't know. Based on your post, she's the one who climbed up on top there. Like, in that moment, again, I only have so much fucking willpower. Like, if a girl's gonna hop on and let me bang her raw, like, Jesus Christ, it's hard to say no. I have said no in certain situations, or if I get a little bit of like, maybe this girl is like not that fucking hygienic or whatever. But yeah, it's hard in that moment. one of my worst, like most regretful things in dating, and this is before I got into actual like legitimately going hard dating. Like I was fucking clueless at this point. I barely knew anything. But I was out at a bar with my friends. I think I was 21, so like same age as the guy in this post. And there was this girl there, really fucking hot, who I went to high school with, but didn't really talk to in high school very much or whatever. And yada yada yada. I end up going home with her and I banged her without a condom, and I came inside of her. So of like the few times I mentioned earlier where I didn't use a condom, I at least didn't come in the girl. But at this point, I guess I was just so inexperienced myself, and I think the girl told me she was on the pill, which you shouldn't believe that. So it's not like carpe diem to fucking come in her, but I did at that point. So yeah, for like whatever weeks or months after that, I'm like, fucking hell, I hope I didn't get her pregnant. But also, that was like the first time that I ever pulled a girl home and had sex with her that same night. It's not really like a same night lay because I already had known the girl somewhat in high school. Like we knew each other existed. It's not like she was a stranger a few hours ago and then I brought her home, but still, just that high was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. So that kind of overrode the pregnancy and STD scares and whatever. But I did fucking regret that. And now, I'm in some situations where this is another thing about condoms. There's situations where like you can't win. Like there was this girl who I approached and I did SNL her same night lay. And I took condoms out of my bag. Long story short, like I didn't have any at the beginning of the night when I went out, but we had separated for like just short temporary amount of time. And so I went to the store and I bought some. And then later on when it was time, she asked me if I had condoms and I said, yeah. And she's like, what are you doing with condoms? You do this with girls all the time. It's like, you can't win in that situations because she's either going to say that, or if I don't have condoms, she's, very likely going to say, oh, well, we can't have sex. You got to have a condom. Like you just can't win. That's just kind of how girls make it sometimes. But I bring this up because I use that excuse from when I was 21. I tell that story to girls all the time when I've been in this situation. I tell them like, oh fuck, when I was 21, I like had sex with this girl and I didn't use a condom and I came inside her and I was so fucking worried. So now just no matter where I go, I have condoms with me. And they're like, oh, okay. So it became a good story to tell. And then most girls, like, calms them down enough. I mean, they're kind of just fucking testing you anyway in that situation. Like, she's still going to have sex with me. I've got the condom, but she just wants, like, some assurance of that I'm not out doing this every night with every girl, which I may or may not be doing. But yeah, as good as it feels without a condom, I know that the best thing to do is to use a condom, sad to say. So try not to make the same mistake again. If you date a ton of girls like I have, there still might be some situations where you don't use one. And if you're in that situation, then at least don't fucking come inside of her. But yeah, get some condoms, keep them next to the bed, and use them from now on. Don't trust that you can judge girls on if they slept with a lot of people or not. All right, I love it when I get to put in my own personal stories and I get to relive those moments of my life. Okay, that's it for this episode of You Don't Know Anything About Women. Make sure you check out the link in the show notes if you want to get in touch or if you want to support the show, and I will see you next time.